Good morning. Namaste. One of the most common requests I continue to receive over the years in our Ayurvedic workshops is to teach the traditional process of producing authentic herbalized oils for massage, panchakarma procedures, and other applications. As a response to this interest, I've put together this rather long video intended to provide those with this desire the complete knowledge of Taila Pak Vidhi, the general method of herbalized oil preparation, and Narayana Taila Pak Vidhi, preparation of Narayana Taila. I must advise you at the onset that this is a relatively time-consuming endeavor, usually between 1 to 3 weeks, which requires specialized equipment, an open fire, and an extensive selection of herbal materials. But for those of you who simply cannot be deterred, I am pleased to offer you these time-honored Ayurvedic procedures. Due to the length of the process and the details which are necessary to explain in order to fully understand it, I have divided this tutorial into 3 parts. The first part is primarily informational. I will define some important terms, describe the components of an Ayurvedic herbalized oil, and explain the ratios of these components. This part 1 is a little dry, but it is required before showing the actual real-time process of making the oils in parts 2 and 3. Do not skip it. The information shared here is not easily found outside of India. The second part explains and shows 1. How to correctly prepare an herbal decoction, or quat, a several-day process depending on the volume prepared, and 2. How to purify sesame oil in order to make it appropriate for use in another separate 3 to 4 day process known as murchana. And the third and final part will detail the method of manufacturing Narayana Taila, a very important and useful oil used in the treatment of many neuromuscular and musculoskeletal conditions, arthritides, neuralgias, muscle pain and stiffness, as well as in all conditions of vata excess. The herbal constituents of Narayana Taila traditionally are known to possess rasayana, balya, brahmaniya, and prajastapana properties, in addition to more modern antioxidant, adaptogenic, and immunomodulatory activities. The Sanskrit word for oil is taila. Ayurveda has a highly developed and detailed tradition of utilizing various oils for external application both with and without massage, for providing general health benefits, and in some cases as part of the treatment protocol for specific conditions. Some oils are expressed directly from various seeds and nuts by maceration and grinding, and without the use of heat. These are known as cold-pressed oils. These oils are used without any further processing, either individually or in combination. Jyotisbati oil from Celestris paniculatus, Bakuchi oil from Soriella cordifolia, castor oil, Ricinus communis, garlic oil, myrrh oil, flaxseed oil, nutmeg oil, ginger oil, cardamom oil, and clove oil are some of the major oils which are generally used individually for different therapeutic indications. Other Ayurvedic oils are made by means of a low-heat cooking process, which herbalizes a base oil according to specific methods and using specific herbs, which is the subject we are discussing here. This process of cooking herbs into oils is known as Taila Pak Vidhi. Vidhi means method or formula. Pak from pakam, it means to cook. And the final product is known as a Siddha Taila. Siddha means one who has attained perfection. These herbalized oils are prepared by gently cooking a base oil with a kalka or herbal paste together with a large quantity of water or alternatively with a decoction. The Ayurvedic tradition has documented the far-reaching health benefits of oil treatments, including especially its vata-alleviating effects and in normalizing brajaka pitta in the skin. In addition, warm oil imparts warmth to the superficial body tissues and stimulates circulation. Herbalized oils are used in a variety of applications in Ayurvedic medicine, including body massage. And body massage includes sambhana, similar to effleurage or light stroking, mardana, similar to petrissage or deep kneading, and abhyanga, which is of course a friction type massage. Oils are also used for application to the head and scalp, for internal use, in the preparation of enemas, for nasal administration, in ophthalmic oil preparations, for Shirodhara and Shirobasti procedures, in Gandusha or mouthwash, and in Karnapurana or ear application. Ayurvedic oils have three components. 1. Sneha Dravya, a vegetable base oil, usually sesame oil or til taila. 2. The kalka, a paste of specific herbs made with water in the required quantity. And 3. The drava dravya, a liquid, water, an aqueous herbal decoction, fresh herbal juices, or even milk. We will look at some of the important features of each of these three components, starting with the base oil. Unrefined raw sesame oil is the most common base oil used as the Sneha Dravya. Castor oil, Aranda Taila, coconut oil, Narkola Taila, mustard oil, Sorsapa Taila, and others are occasionally used either alone or in combination. Oils are a type of fat, a commonly vilified category of nutrient, yet an extremely vital one. For example, fats of various types are essential for the nourishment and functional integrity of the nervous system, specifically the myelin sheath, which covers about 60% of nerve fibers in the body. There is even a common Sanskrit proverb referring to individuals with exceptional intellectual abilities as Taila Buddhi. Ayurveda further classifies fat into 4 types. They are Grita, or herbalized ghee, Taila, or expressed oils from plant seeds and nuts, Vasa, from animal fat tissue, and Majja, that's fat derived from bone marrow. Out of these, Tailas, the seed oils, and Gritas, the herbalized ghees, are frequently used in treating Vata and Pitta conditions respectively. Vasa and Majja are not as commonly used today as I've seen in the past. Siddha Tailas themselves are classified according to the length of time that an oil undergoes cooking. We have Mridu Paka oils, or mildly cooked oils, then Madhyama Paka oils, or medium cooked oils, and finally Karapaka oils, or longer cooked oils. The therapeutic uses are different for each stage. For example, Mridu Paka oils are used for nasal and ear administration. Madhyama Paka oils usually for internal consumption or topical use, and Karapaka oils exclusively for abhyanga and other topical uses. As we will see in part 3, Narayana Taila belongs to the latter type. Biologically active ingredients in herbs are of 2 types, water-soluble and fat-soluble. The more water-soluble, hence relatively fat-insoluble ingredients there are in herbs, the longer the cooking process should be in order to coax these stubborn water-loving molecules out into their newly oily environment. Because solubility depends on many factors, the polarity of the substance, the temperature, the pressure, and the other adjacent molecules, and many other factors, so-called fat-insoluble components often in reality have a degree of solubility in oil, given the proper processing and cooking time. Today we know that these fat-insoluble ingredients include alkaloids, gums, mucilages, albumins, saponins, and other components. But our forefathers knew nothing of such reductionist chemistry. Their chemistry involved taste, color, smell, feel, location, and of course empirical experience. Modern science often obscures a true understanding of whole herbs because the unique organization of the hundreds of molecules in a whole root or leaf behave differently than an isolated alkaloid or glycoside. Thus, what a plant component is determined by modern science to be insoluble in water, this very likely is not entirely true when that component dynamically interacts with other neighboring components of the whole plant, or the whole root, or the whole leaf. Siddha Tailas can be made with as few as 2 or 3 herbs, such as in Nirgundi Tailam, and in as many as 73 herbs, as in Mahavisagarbha Taila. The process of making herbalized oils basically extracts the strongly nonpolar lipid-soluble and some relatively nonpolar water-soluble components of the plants and recombines them in oil in a way that they acquire new qualities. They can become shodana, or detoxifying. They can get some shamana qualities, or calming, or santarpana, increasing qualities, or apatarpana, or reducing qualities. Thus, Taila Pakvidi is truly an alchemical process founded on centuries of both intuitive science and experience. So that's about everything I wanted to say about base oils. The second ingredient of an herbalized oil is the kalka. A kalka is simply a paste of an herb or herbs obtained by crushing and grinding the whole fresh plant in a ulukula musala, or mortar and pestle, until it becomes a soft mass. It can also be made with dried herbs with the addition of enough water to create a paste. The amount of water required is usually about double the amount of the dry herb. The resulting paste is known as the kalka. So we've covered two of the three components of an Ayurvedic Siddha Taila, the base oil and the kalka. The last component, the drava dravya, or aqueous component, will be discussed in part 2. But to conclude part 1, I'd like to now explain how to combine the three components in the correct ratios. Unless otherwise indicated, the following classic ratios of the three components as given in the Sarangadhara Samhita, written in the 13th century AD, are followed. This famous ratio of 1 to 4 to 16 assumes the drava dravya to be water. In this case, the kalka quantity should be 1/4 that of the base oil, or sneha dravya. If, however, the drava dravya used is kwat, then the amount of kalka should be reduced to 1/6 the sneha volume, which means the kalka is reduced from 1 part to only 2/3 part. Note that the volumes of both the sneha dravya and the dravya dravya do not change. The only change is the reduction in the quantity of kalka. By reducing the kalka from 1 to 2/3 part, we reduce the ratio of kalka to sneha from 1/4 to 1/6. If the drava dravya is dugda, or milk, or dadi, or curd, or takra, or buttermilk, or mamsa rasa, or meat juice, or swarasa, fresh plant juice, the kalka should be further reduced to 1/8 of the sneha volume, which means the kalka is reduced to only 1/2 part, while the water in all cases should remain 4 times the sneha volume to achieve the complete transfer of active herbal components into the oil. Thus, with milk, curd, buttermilk, meat juice, or fresh plant juice as the drava dravya, the ratio changes as shown here. You will probably need to rewind this last section on ratios and write down the information in each of these 3 boxes. It's really not that confusing once you read it a couple of times. I warned you that part 1 would be a little dry, but now it's over. Look for parts 2 and 3 in the very near future.